All right, so we're diving into a play today, The Emperor of the Moon, written in 1687 by Aphra Behn. It's a farce.
Which basically means a lot of over-the-top characters and,
Oh yeah.
wild situations, physical comedy, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so much fun. And you've given us the play itself and a bunch of great background info, so we're ready to go, ready to dig in, see what we can find.
One of the things that's really fascinating about this play is that it's not just silly fun.
Yeah.
It actually gives us a glimpse into what people in the 17th century, how they thought about the moon.
Oh, interesting.
Just like we're fascinated by space travel and, all the unknowns of space today.
Right.
The moon was that for them back then.
The final frontier, huh?
Yeah, full of mystery and possibility.
Like everybody's talking about colonizing Mars now.
Exactly.
Back then it was the moon, right?
Yeah.
What if central. And this play centers around, well, he's obsessed with what ifs, right? This guy, Dr. Balliardo, he's a philosopher from Naples who's absolutely convinced that there's a whole society up there.
A mirror image.
Yeah, a mirror of us living on the moon.
Yeah. And of course, that leads to all sorts of comedic chaos.
Oh, I bet.
Especially when you bring in his daughters, Aloria and Belamonte,
Right.
who are in love with the viceroy's nephews.
Uh-huh.
But, Balliardo's not going to have any of that.
Yeah.
He won't even consider them as potential sons-in-law.
Nope.
Because he's got his sights set on something a little more,
Out of this world.
yeah, extraterrestrial, shall we say.
Oh, talk about an overprotective dad.
Yeah.
He's so fixated on this idea that his daughters are destined for, greatness on this lunar level.
Yeah.
That he's missing out on the perfectly fine guys
Totally.
right in front of him.
Standing right there.
But luckily, they're not giving up. The young lovers, I mean.
Right.
They come up with a plan to trick him into, well,
To get what they want.
yeah, get their girls.
With a little help from Scaramouche.
Meow.
The doctor's mischievous servant.
Oh, yeah, he's a classic, isn't he?
Yeah, Scaramouche is a classic commedia dell'arte character.
Like a total trickster.
Oh, a real trickster figure, yeah.
I love those.
Commedia dell'arte was a type of Italian theater that relied a lot on these stock characters,
Yeah.
kind of archetypes that you see again and again and again.
Yeah.
They also used a lot of improvisation and physical comedy,
Right?
which makes it a perfect fit for this play.
So kind of like, those old sitcoms with the slamming doors.
Exactly.
All those mistaken identities.
That's it. That's it.
Scaramouche is that chaotic energy.
Embodies it perfectly.
Yeah.
Spinning lies, creating distractions to cover for the lovers.
Yeah.
I mean, he even goes so far as to convince Balliardo that he's had visitors from the moon.
Stop. That's so funny. I love it.
From the lunar world.
I can't wait to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But Scaramouche isn't the only trickster we've got here. There's Harlequin, too, right?
Oh, right. Right. The valet. Yeah, to one of the nephews.
And like Scaramouche, he's another one of those classic commedia dell'arte types.
Yeah. You said
Known for, well, the physical comedy.
a physical comedy.
Quick wit, loves a good disguise.
Of those disguises.
You see it all, when he's making that very nimble escape from a sword fight.
Oh, yeah?
With Scaramouche, no less. Or when he disguises himself. God, how many times?
Multiple times.
Just to try and charm Mopsophill.
Mopsophill, the governess.
The governess. So you've got all this kind of, I don't know, absurdity, but Ben uses it to satirize not just romantic love, but also the pursuit of knowledge.
And status.
Yeah, like take Balliardo. He's such a great example, right? He's so blinded by these lunar fantasies
Completely.
that he becomes a caricature. Of those who get so caught up in their own theories that they lose sight of reality.
Absolutely.
It's like when people get fixated on one idea and they just miss what's right in front of them. Do you think, I don't know, was Ben making like a broader point about society here?
I think so.
Was she poking fun at like the intellectual elite of her time?
It's definitely possible. I mean, remember, she's writing during a time of huge intellectual and scientific change.
Right.
New discoveries are challenging old beliefs all the time.
Constantly.
So it wouldn't be surprising if she was using the play to kind of poke fun at those who, maybe were clinging to those outdated ideas. Or those who are easily swayed by fantastical theories.
At the expense of, well...
Of common sense.
Common sense, right. So we've got this play that's full of, slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
But underneath it all, there's this really clever social commentary about, human nature, ambition, all those big things.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder how the play was received back then. Was it just seen as like light entertainment? Or did people pick up on those deeper layers?
Well, the play premiered in 1687. at the Dorset Garden Theatre in London.
Oh.
And it was a huge hit.
Really?
Oh, yeah, for the Duke's Company. Imagine, elaborate sets.
Uh-huh.
You've got a lunar pageant going on.
Wait.
Music.
Yeah.
All those over-the-top performances we've been talking about.
It must have been amazing.
It must have been a riot.
Yeah.
People just loved it.
I bet. Like a 17th century blockbuster.
Absolutely.
And you had some pretty big names in it too, right?
Yeah, like Tony Lee as Scaramouche.
Oh, wow.
Tom Givan as Harlequin.
So I bet the audience was,
rolling in the aisles.
totally just eating it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? The fact that the play stayed popular for so long suggests that there was more to it than just the spectacle.
Right.
There's something about those themes.
Yeah.
The ridiculousness of human folly.
Yeah.
Our blind spots, the ways we chase after illusions. That's timeless.
Yeah. It resonates even today.
Yeah.
It's still relevant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can't forget that Ben's writing this during a pretty crazy time in England, politically, socially.
Yeah, things were a little chaotic back then.
It kind of makes you wonder if maybe she was using the play to also say something about the whole power thing. The dynamics of power at the time, maybe poking a little fun at the court.
Yeah.
Or people in charge.
Oh, that's an interesting take. So it's not just moon-obsessed philosophers. It's also about this human thing, this drive for power and status.
Absolutely.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Exactly.
I bet we all know a Dr. Belliardo or two.
Yeah, for sure.
Those people so focused on their own goals that they kind of miss, what's really important.
Yeah, those blind spots. And the play, I think, invites us to laugh at ourselves a little, too. Who hasn't chased after their own moon, so to speak?
I know, I have.
Whether it's some big promotion or the perfect relationship, or even just that Instagram post.
Don't even get me started.
That was reminding us to step back sometimes, see the bigger picture.
That's good advice. So true. But speaking of seeing things, one thing I've been wondering about the language.
Yeah.
Is it hard for, a modern audience to understand? It was written so long ago.
Well, Ben's language is definitely of another era.
Right.
It's full of these witty little word plays. And those charmingly old-fashioned phrases?
Okay, yeah.
But honestly, once you get into the rhythm of it, it's really quite accessible.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's entertaining. And plus, a lot of the humor's so visual. It's driven by the characters so much that it kind of goes beyond the language anyway.
I'm all for appreciating the classics, but sometimes you do need a decoder ring to get through them.
Right.
So you've got the witty language, these big, larger-than-life characters, and there's music and dance woven into this play as well. What kind of music would they have used back in Ben's day?
I imagine it was probably a mix of popular tunes at the time and some original stuff composed just for the play.
Right.
Picture lively jigs, courtly dances. They might have even thrown in a rowdy tavern song or two.
Just to mix things up.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And, to get that lunar mood, they probably incorporated some more ethereal, otherworldly melodies.
Oh, I love that. I can just imagine the musicians tuning up, the actors getting ready. Speaking of which, one scene I wanted to ask you about, the one where the lovers disguise themselves as figures in a tapestry.
Oh, yeah.
To avoid getting caught by Dr. Belliardo. How did they even pull that off back then? No CGI or anything.
Right. That scene must have been a real showcase for the actors. Their physical comedy skills and the stagecraft. Clever staging. And those actors just holding perfectly still in those weird tapestry poses.
It must be. Can you imagine the audience just
holding their breath?
Totally. Just waiting to see if he'd notice. So much tension.
And it's not just about the physical comedy. That scene. It also really plays into those themes of illusion and deception that we see throughout the play.
Right.
They're literally hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Creating this whole false reality.
It's like a metaphor for, I don't know, how easy it is to be fooled by appearances.
Oh, yeah.
Or how we sometimes choose to see what we want to see, even if it's, not real.
Exactly. It really makes you think about the ways that we construct our own realities, whether it's through, filters on social media or carefully creating a certain image in public, or even just the stories we tell ourselves.
Deep thought.
They have really packed a lot into what seems like such a lighthearted play.
She really did. Before we get too philosophical, though, I have to ask about the ending. No spoilers, of course, but
Sure.
Can you give us a little tease? Like, how does she bring it all together?
Let's just say it's a perfectly farcical resolution
Okay.
to all the chaos and confusion that comes before.
Okay.
Ben manages to satirize not only the Doctor's obsessions, with the moon, but also the whole nature of theater itself.
Ooh, I like that.
The line between what's real and what's just a performance gets really...
blurred.
Yeah, delightfully blurred.
Yeah.
You're left wondering what's what.
I love that. It's like she's playing with the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
Reminding us that theater is all about messing with our perceptions, turning things upside down. It makes you kind of look back on things and wonder if you weren't all just, playing a role in some big comedy.
I know, right? I mean, that's what Farce does so well, I think.
Yeah.
Let's just see the funny side of things.
The absurdity.
Yeah. Everyday life.
Yeah.
Laugh at ourselves a little. Not take ourselves too seriously.
Speaking of not taking things seriously, that duel between Scaramouche and Harlequin.
Oh, yeah.
So classic.
Yeah, gotta have a duel.
Those two fighting over Mopsafil.
Even though
she's already promised to someone else.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't know, straight out of a cartoon or something.
The duel itself is just pure slapstick.
Oh, yeah.
Exaggerated movements.
Big react.
Over the top.
Ben's using it to kind of poke fun at, male pride and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Those little rivalries that we get caught up in.
Absolutely.
Makes you think, what are we really fighting for?
Good question.
Some battles, probably best to just walk away.
Sometimes you got to choose your battles. It makes you think about all the stuff we chase after. All those moons. Careers, relationships, keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh, so true.
It's easy to leave sight of what matters.
Before we wrap this whole thing up, though, gotta ask, if Dr. Balliardo were around today, what would be his obsession? What would be his moon?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, knowing him,
yeah,
probably something that, promises big secrets revealed.
Right.
Or, elevates his status, makes him feel important.
Of course.
Maybe he'd be like a tech guru, convinced that AI is going to make us all immortal.
Oh, totally.
Or a crypto fanatic, betting everything on the next Bitcoin.
Can't you just see him lost in the metaverse, found his lunar society at last?
It really is amazing, though, isn't it?
What's that?
How this play, written hundreds of years ago,
yeah,
still feels so relevant.
I know. Human nature.
Ben just gets it.
Yeah, she does. All right, so we've had our lunar citic adventure here with the Emperor of the Moon. Big thanks to Aphra Behn for the fun.
And to you for joining us.
And to you out there listening. Thanks for diving deep with us. And hey, next time you're chasing after a moon of your own, take a minute, just laugh the whole thing, Could save you some trouble down the road.